Is your strut clunking? Is it making a weird noise that you just can't figure out? Well, today I want to cover the main thing that could be the cause of that weird clunking noise, and that's your pillow ball bearing. So let's get into it. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what is a pillow ball bearing? A pillow ball bearing is what allows the strut to move properly. When your strut compresses, the angle can change and there's a bearing in the top hat which allows it to move so that your strut isn't having unnecessary strain put on it. The most common place that you're going to find this pillow ball bearing is within McPherson style suspension. So let's talk about diagnosing a bad pillow ball bearing. Now if you have the ability to, the easiest way to diagnose it is to drop your strut down enough to access the top hat and see if you can move it easily. If it moves super easily, that means that the bearing is no good and you will want to replace it. So as you can see, this one is pretty stiff. And then this one moves with almost no effort. All right, so I'm gonna have Peter bring the camera in here and I'm gonna show you how to disassemble and replace the pillow ball bearing. Step one is to remove the damping knob like so. Now, depending on your strut, you may need different size tools. In our case, I'm using a 17mm wrench and a 5mm Allen. So the Allen is going to go inside and hold the strut in place, and we are going to loosen the nut and awkwardly unscrew it. There we go. Perfect. All right, now that the top hat is removed, the next step is to remove the retainer clip. To do so, we're going to undo the Allens here. In our case, it's a 3mm. Now don't worry if you do happen to strip one of the Allens, it's not the end of the world. All you're gonna need to do is either use a small Dremel and cut a slit for a flathead, or grind it down so you can pull it out with pliers. All right, first off, go ahead and pat yourself on the back. You're now a certified mechanic. Next, we're gonna remove the retaining clip and we're gonna head over to our press. If you don't have a press at home, you can rent one from just about any auto parts store for free. All right, so here we are at our little press. We're using a ball joint service kit. We're gonna place the top hat right in here like this and just crank on down. And just like that, it's popped out. So we can go ahead, pull the press back up. And there we go, we have our old worn pillow ball. And as you can see, it's super loose and no good. So now we're gonna place the new replacement pillow ball bearing in. To do this, we're gonna flip that top hat over in the press. We're gonna place the pillow ball bearing right like this. Now, if you are struggling, you can leave this in the freezer overnight and that will help the process. Then we're gonna take a socket and place it in between, like so. And we are going to spin it down. Take your time. You definitely don't want to rush this and damage a replacement bearing or the top hat itself. All right, and just like that, we have seated it properly. So we can go ahead and pull up. And now we're gonna go replace the retainer clip and reassemble the strut. All right, now that we're back here with the new pillow ball bearing in place, we are gonna return the retainer clip. In our case, we did replace the hardware. It's M5 by 0.8. Now you do wanna get these nice and snug, so don't feel bad about cranking down a little bit. Just do your best to not strip them. All right, and now we're gonna grab our strut. We are going to replace this, add the locking nut. Now that the locking nut is in place, we can reinsert the damping knob and tighten. So hopefully now you know how to replace a bad pillow ball bearing. If you want to grab yourself one, head over to bagriders.com, your one-stop drop shop. Loosey-goosey. She loose. This one tight and this one loose. Anyway, today's soda review, plain Dr. Pepper. If only I knew what the 23 flavors were.